Some people aren't very self-aware, like that guy who used to fart in the elevator.
It was me!
Remember when you brought your M380 World War II gas mask and strapped it on before stepping in the next time? That's satire. Satire is defined as the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize the stupidity or vices of people, usually with the intent to shame the subject into self-improvement. Satire is used not only on individuals like politicians or celebrities.
As actors, it is our responsibility to read the newspapers and then say what we read on television like it's our own opinion. Matt Damon.
It can also be used to make fun of entire societal constructs, like our education system.
Question 60. I prefer the smell of A, gasoline, B, French fries, or C, bank customers.
Well, that was a waste of time. Jamie, school is never a waste of time.
Since we have 15 minutes until recess, please put down your pencils and stare at the front of the room.
Religion
Hello, would you like to change religions? I have a free book written by Jesus!
or even society at large.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
The word satire was derived from the word satire and the plays that they starred in. Satyrs are lusty, half-man, half-horse goat things.
I'm talking, of course, about Man-Bear-Pig.
Man-Bear-Pig?
They are the stewards of the god of wine and ecstasy, Dionysus, aka Bacchus, so they share his love of drink and debauchery. In the satyr plays of ancient Greece, these creatures took the place of the chorus. The satyr plays themselves were similar in structure to the Greek tragedies, but instead of tragedy, they were farcical versions of the Greek myths. The satyrs are cowardly, dishonest drunks. The plays were put on between or after the showing of a few Greek tragedies. This was done to soften the emotional blow. Let's face it, the tragedies weren't exactly feel-good stories. To illustrate their lusty nature, the satyrs in these satyr plays all wore large phalluses. It should be noted that in ancient Greece, a large penis was considered undesirable or vulgar, so the satyrs having them would add to the comedy. The large phallus was also a symbol used in Dionysus' ritual holidays. One of the greatest things about the plays in ancient Greece was that they were all free. Anyone could go to them. Rich or poor, you could come see the shows because it was government-funded tribute to the god Dionysus, and it took place in the temple. They were supposed to teach morals.
Shh, mind your manners.
Yes, mind your manners.
And for the most part they did, especially since we still analyze Greek plays today. Not only do we still analyze them, but we still put them on. All the Greek tragedies, comedies, and satyr plays that still exist are produced in modern day from time to time in theaters around the world. Satire itself evolved from being exclusively in satyr plays and branched out to be part of every type of media one can imagine. There are essentially three types of satire, all named after some of the first people who wrote them. Horatian is light social commentary meant to poke fun at things in an entertaining way. Juvenalian, which is very dark in tone rather than comedic and is meant to speak truth to power. Finally, Menippean satire casts judgment on specific beliefs, such as homophobia or racism. These three can be used by themselves or in tandem, but most satire follows at least one of these three types. In ancient Greece, there were essentially three types of play: tragedies, with miserable morals to tell, comedies, with debauched humor to share, and the satyr plays. It was believed then that no one could write both comedy and tragedy. Eventually that changed, and a guy called Aristophanes wrote the play Lysistrata in 441 BCE, one of the earliest known examples of a satirical play that was not a satyr play. It was about the women of the court taking over the treasury and threatening to withhold sex from the men until they put an end to the war they were having. Of course, when this show was done in ancient Greece, all the women were played by men. Without satire, we wouldn't have the society of today. Satire has allowed people to speak out against injustice in the world without as much fear of reprisal. There were a few times that leaders outlawed acting because it had become too decadent and lewd, according to some. I think they just couldn't take good criticism. Often, anyone who openly opposed their tyrannical leaders would have terrible consequences. Luckily, satire is entertaining, and the actors and playwrights were celebrities. It is difficult to execute famous people without their fans raising a ruckus. That could lead to a troublesome uprising, and no self-respecting tyrant would want to incite one of those.
It is said that the people are revolting.
You said it. They stink on ice.
No, Your Majesty, this is a very serious problem. The peasants feel you have no regard for them.
What? I have no regard for the peasants. They are my people. I am their sovereign. I love them. Pull! Drifting to the left.
Satire has taken many forms over the years. The kings of the past saw the value of satire, even against themselves. This is why they employed court jesters. Much like a clown, a jester's main job was to bring entertainment and laughter to the royal court. A jester would also try to use satire and humor to elucidate the king on public opinions. The position required a great deal of wit, intellect, and skill with subtlety. Telling your boss how they are screwing up takes tact, especially when that boss can have you exiled, executed, or tortured.
Only a fool would go after the singing sword.
A good idea, fool.
Wow.
However, a good jester was often a trusted advisor to the king, since they were one of the only people in the royal court who had the privilege of mocking their majesty openly without being executed for it. Most of the time, anyway. Not only were they expected to entertain, but also to provide important information for the court to hear and deliver it in a way the royal court would approve of. Jesters even served as messengers for their lords in times of war. They were sent to an opposing army as a messenger. If they were good, they might share a message and come back to their master alive. If not, they might just be shot from a catapult back to the other side. So much for job security. Theater, comedy, and satire spread across the globe. It was adopted and adapted by each culture in unique ways, from Japanese kabuki, the French théâtre de l'art, on until Elizabethan theater and the golden age of Spanish theater, which combined components of Italian comedy and English Renaissance theater to widen the appeal. Everything was going well until theater was banned after a civil war in England, when a Puritan regime took it over. 18 years later, King Charles II took back power and got things started again. As time passed, the use of satire only became more common. Today, it would be difficult to find any form of entertainment that doesn't contain some form of satire. One of the longest-running satirical sitcom cartoons, The Simpsons, has been making fun of society for the last 34 years. They've been around so long they've started making fun of themselves.
I just have one question about hair. Where does mine start? Head, hair. Where's the border? Oh my God, me too! What are we?
South Park is not far behind with 26.
People would think that they are going to get a bite of a sweet, delicious cherry, but instead they'll get a mouthful of yucky and sticky mayonnaise. You've never seen this on The Simpsons, right?
No, I think The Simpsons would be more clever than that.
Good.
And a new favorite, Rick and Morty, that's been going on for 6, has already crashed into The Simpsons. Literally.
Oh my God, Morty, what did you do? You killed the Simpsons, Morty!
No, I didn't mean to!
Go, God, look at the baby one! Oh my God, Morty! You killed the entire Simpsons, Morty! They're a beloved family, Morty! They're a national treasure, and you killed them!
These shows all poke fun at society, and some of the ridiculous things that people do. The power of this kind of catharsis is far-reaching. I mean, Rick and Morty was able to get McDonald's to bring back the Szechuan sauce for a limited time just from one mention of it on their show.
I want my McNugget dipping sauce, Szechuan sauce, Morty. That's what's gonna take us all the way to the end, Morty. 9 more seasons, Morty. 9 more seasons until I get that dipping Szechuan sauce. For 97 more years, Morty. I want that McNugget sauce, Morty.
It doesn't have to stop at tasty sauce for some chicken nuggets, though. You can tackle anything that you don't like with satire. Clueless rich people.
Who is that?
Jackie Lynn, just use your contact lenses. You need the prescription.
No, Mom. They turn my eyes blue. And that's me giving into white culture.
Well, then order plain ones. Yesterday I saw you try to milk a male buffalo.
Whatever, Mom. It worked. I put it in the fridge.
Bigoted children's book writers.
Okay, who's the next girl or boy? There's only those two.
Work.
Teasing will no longer be tolerated.
You mean there's no teasing of any kind?
No. Just things that are on the list. That is the beauty of it.
We even use satire to make fun of other movies.
I did not hit her.
I did not hit her.
True.
It's not true.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
I did not hit her.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Not all satire is comedic. Some of the best satires are dramas that artfully tackle big issues. Since we all know that changing the world by ourselves is impossible, we must turn to others and say what we feel, hoping that somebody who has more power than ourselves might be able to effect the changes that we need. However, most likely, it's going to be due to the collective actions of us all that will make things different in the future. So, the next time you see injustice in the world, don't just watch it happen. Make fun of it. You can do it any way you want. Make it funny, make it sad, make it ironic. If you're pointing out the issue, you are making satire, and possibly making the world a better place in the long run. There's only one thing that is certain in this world. That is change, and everyone is a part of it.